I recently took a red-eye flight out to Manhattan, hoping to take home Best Alternative Investment Solutions Award from Finovate. We were out at a financial innovation conference in Manhattan. I also got to speak on how automated investing can yield higher returns while promoting capital preservations. And we got to do a really cool demo, packed audience. That's why most people go to this financial innovation conference to see what people are doing. So we got to demo Toro alerts, literally a block away from Times Square. So that was kind of cool. Packed audience for 2.5 days. Not bad. At the end of each day, kind of gave me a couple of hours. And so I utilized that time basically to kind of run around town and see what the New York scene was going to look like once the regulated marketplace opens up. So for a couple hours each night, I ran around and checked out mostly illicit stores, CBD shops at, we're selling Delta 8, Delta 10, and THC, products that they shouldn't have been. Also, some of the food trucks were still around, even though about 3 dozen got towed away. And so basically got to see a lot. So we're in this upcoming video, we're going to kind of dive into what I was able to see, what my opinion is about the market, where it might be going, and most of all, kind of how it's going to compare to California. New Yorkers think that that New York's going to be bigger than California. So with that, we're going to check out the good. We're also going to check out the bad and the ugly, all coming up.
It's only entertainment.
Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business podcast. So right around the corner from my hotel was Times Square, literally 10 feet away. And so that's where I would leave from. On the first day, just did, 4.3 mile kind of circle around Midtown, right around the Rockefeller Centers. So I started off on 48th and went to AR Cannabis Clinic. Wasn't there. I think it was like a beauty parlor or something. 57th, the dispensary. Nope. Etain was there. Etain was just purchased. I think their 4 locations were purchased for $250 million recently. Medman wasn't on 5th. Starbuds was not on 7th. And then there was another dispensary on 43rd. But I got to admit, like, my record keeping wasn't good by the time I did finally show up. Maybe it was called the dispensary. I don't know, but I ran into a couple of gals that were super friendly and helpful, showed me their favorite products, which were flour, and then showed me the number 1 product, that people were buying, which was either gummies or pre-rolls. And she even gave me a pre-roll. I've never had anybody give me a pre-roll product because it's not legal to give away products. But that was pretty awesome. So I got to try that out. Not bad. Smelled really good. But got to come into the store, take a few photos. It seemed very similar. A lot of similar brands. Flav is out there. Stizzy is out there. But the pre-roll I got had no kind of barcode, no testing, no nothing. I wish I remembered the name of the store, but again, I took this red-eye flight where I got no sleep. I mean, who eats M&Ms for 5 hours and drinks sparkling wine? We left at 9:40 Seattle time and arrived 6 a.m. local Manhattan time, and I feel like we were leaving Vegas, after MJ BizCon or something. Everybody was partying. It was weird. So, first and last red-eye flight for me. This next day out, I asked the doorman, how do you get to Wall Street? He said, you can take the M line. I said, okay, well, how do you walk there? And he looked at me like I was crazy. And now I know why, because it's about 8.5 miles if it's, direct miles, but it was more like 15 because I was going left and right and all over the place to check out all kinds of places, like Endomed and 50 Shades of Green and all these places that were closed, like tons of places that were just not around. There was a wonderful marijuana dispensary on Pine that wasn't there. High-end marketplace not there on Madison. Potion and Higher Empire we'll get to Higher Empire because Franklin hooked us up there. Moo Exotic wasn't there. Columbia Care wasn't there. Hayes Dispensary was not there. All these places, I'm walking around, they're just not there. One of the locations was actually the courthouse, which was interesting. Got to see the New York Stock Exchange and the Charging Bull. got to see the Jenga building where the Bed Bath & Beyond CEO threw himself off of, and then ran around and saw New York. It was pretty gritty, but not as bad as I thought. They got the garbage on the sidewalks. The sun never hits anybody's face because of the buildings, but not as bad as I thought it would be, like Portland or whatever, but or San Francisco. Geez, Tenderloin District is terrible. But we did get to walk around quite a bit and see a lot as we just kept walking around, and one store after another was not there. There were a lot of CBD shops. I walked into a place, the guy had no idea what he was selling. Somebody just brought stuff in and he just takes people's money. Had no idea what THC was, or D8 or D10 or any of these other products that they had. So a lot of CBD shops selling illicit goods, including stizzy products. A lot of these places are not legit. You walk in, they have no idea what they're even selling. There's just an employee at, like, essentially a gas station. These CBD shops, they're clueless. But leave it to New York to kind of emulate Vancouver, BC, up in Canada, where people just on the streets selling stuff. So I walk by, guys, I can't take a photo, but for $10 you can. And so I basically just took a photo and took home a pre-roll as well. And then one shop that I did find, Empire, this kid Franklin was showing me all kinds of his favorite products, whatever, like what he felt were moving. A lot of people want to take stuff with them, so he recommends gummies. They still sell a ton of pre-rolls. His favorite product was some flour, and I thought ice cream was kind of interesting as well. They did have Skittles, so we expect a lawsuit there eventually. There was just a lawsuit out of Canada. But Jeters is everywhere. Every product has like Jeters, so I would imagine he's going to probably come out. But all in all, the market is interesting out in New York. There were lines for Swatch watches. There were lines for tacos. There were lines for things I didn't even see what there was a line for. But what there weren't lines for were any of these shops. And I don't know, maybe they're utilizing delivery. I doubt that, because tourism, I guess, is where most of the people are coming from, according to the shops that I talked to. Again, 90% of them, more than that, 90+%, wouldn't let me take a photo. So they're totally illegit shops. They don't know what's going on. But in the end, when they do get regulated marketplaces opening up and stores are able to sell to people, I think what you're going to find is that there's going to be high prices, just like everywhere else. Maybe good, decent quality if they can get the out-of-state manufacturers to come in and with the head start on the knowledge. But from what I saw, I don't see people clamoring for it. I don't see the locals demanding it. I see the products there, but there wasn't a line anywhere. So that's, when New Yorkers say, "Oh, we're going to overtake the California market," that's the 5th largest GDP in the world. And, you can't just go to California, who's, they invented concentrates essentially. Like, New York didn't know what concentrates were like 7 years ago. And you're going to tell me that they're going to outsell to tourists who have no idea what it is, whose locals aren't even standing in line to buy it? I don't know. I don't see that happening. It's a decent market. It could be a decent rollout. It depends on how they do it. They're going to need the cannabis cafes and delivery and, more stores than what I saw. There's like 1 million restaurants there. There's hardly any gyms. So hopefully there will be more cannabis shops than gyms, at least. But New York is a lot of tourism, but I just don't see the demand for it. I don't think that they're going to overtake the California market for at least 10 years minimum, if ever. All right, but I'm going to go on record and say at least for 10 years, they're not even going to come close to the California market and taking over. So argue with me in the comments if you want. Let me know what you think the market's going to be like in New York. If you've been there, if you've seen it, what you anticipate. What I saw was interesting. Just seems like a normal rollout. It's going to be low supply, high prices in the beginning, limited licenses. So Because if they're relying heavily on tourism like Nevada, again, I'm not comparing Nevada. People kind of keep misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm saying if New York is relying on tourism like Nevada like Las Vegas relies on tourism, you're going to fail, because something inevitably is going to happen where people, if they stop coming, then what? Then you have no market at all. And I'm not saying Manhattan or New York won't have a market, but when you're talking about overtaking the world's fifth largest GDP being Cali, I just don't see it at all. Ice cream is neat. You're not going to sell enough of that though. And no infused coffee. What's up with that? Do you know more Americans drink coffee than water? 59% of Americans said they drink, their number one beverage is coffee. 58% said water. Pretty close, but still, Oregon is the only place I've seen that has infused coffee. So if you don't have enough niche products, you're going to have to sell it by the volume, I guess. And I just didn't see that happening. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You're going to have to let me know. With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.